Fund grant, to playing the film in the historic Castro Theater in 2023, to inviting me here today, and to the work that we're exploring doing together in partnership with the Transgender Film Center. The support of this incredible organization is never lost on me. Thank you. Sit up for Frameline. Now, Frameline invited me here today to give a keynote about making it no matter what, and I understand why. I'm a guy from Kansas who learned early on that nobody was just going to give me money to make a film. A sentiment that I'm sure everybody in this room understands deeply. I learned how to be scrappy, how to do a lot with very little, and how to work in teams to reach an overall goal. I didn't grow up around filmmakers. I didn't grow up in a queer community. But I was a kid who loved movies, not just watching them, but the world around them. I wanted to be part of the action, to live in the magic of stories that felt bigger than me, especially when I felt very, very small. That longing turned into a drive that is either endearingly charming or incredibly grating, depending on who you ask. And so I chased it. I worked hard alongside other brilliant artisans committed to their craft. Sometimes I scraped by. I often said yes to things I wasn't sure I could handle. And then I figured out how to handle them in real time with the support of teammates I worked on these films with. But I have a confession to make. I'm burnt out. I mean, I'm really burnt out. And I think that's a sentiment that a lot of people in this room can share about the nodding that I'm seeing. After 11 years of tirelessly working to stand on a stage like this to be in your incredible company, I'm exhausted. For the last 2 years, I toured Chasing Amy around the world with a team of brilliant collaborators. I started a job at Seed and Spark to pay my bills and to support other filmmakers. And I ran the Transgender Film Center with 3 other volunteer board members and 1 part-time employee in my copious volunteer time. My wife is also chronically ill. I've seldom had a break over the last 2 years. And like so many of us, I'm a workaholic. And not because it's noble, but because sometimes it feels like it's the only option that I have to keep going. Please don't misconstrue this as me complaining, though. So many of my dreams have come true thanks to this journey, including fulfilling a lifelong dream of visiting the Full House the other day. Thank you for that. But multiple things can be true at once, and I've never thought more about quitting than I have in the last year. And yet, since kicking off the festival journey with Chasing Amy, I've had some emerging filmmakers come up to me and ask what it's like to have made it. It's a surprising question. I still have a day job. Nobody's banging down my door to give me money for the next movie. And while everybody may feel like they're on the outside of the thing that they want, I am keenly aware that I haven't reached my own definition of success. And I'm honestly not sure there's a pathway to achieve those goals in this current ecosystem with how the industry has been changing rapidly around us. And yet I still have these incredible experiences that people typically associate with success. So this all begs the question, what does it mean to make it? What does it mean to make it in a world where the American monoculture no longer exists? Where the paths that used to feel tangible to break in, to be successful, are now broken up into 1,000 little side roads, none of them clearly marked. Many of us in this room were raised on the indie film dream. You know, the one that starts at Sundance in the 80s, gets the fever pitch in the 90s, and many upstart filmmakers are still being sold on it today. It's the myth that if you pour your heart into something authentic, maybe, just maybe, it'll be discovered by somebody in power, and you'll never have to work on finding work as a filmmaker again. But here's the thing, when we give away our power to these institutions, our hopes and dreams entirely hinge upon this institutional validation, and that becomes a vicious cycle. It is the snake eating its tail over and over and over again. And yet, and this is important, none of us can do it alone. None of us can do this alone. So where does that leave us? We have to reframe what success looks like, what making it looks like. And for that, we have to look inward, and we have to look around this room. I'm not telling you to stop applying for those prestigious labs or fellowships. That would be highly hypocritical, because I'll also apply to those programs the same as all of you. I'll continue to run programs through the Transgender Film Center in hopes of giving out more money. But we do have to rally around one another. It's essential now more than ever to be the ones defining what success looks like for ourselves and bolstering each other to reach new heights. You may have heard of the book Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam that popularized the term social capital 25 years ago. It describes how American society has seen a massive decline in said social capital, in people knowing their neighbors, joining clubs, and participating in civic life. The TLDR of that book is that we used to bowl in leagues and now we bowl alone. And we're worse off because of it. We are lonelier, we are more isolated, and it has left the world devoid of empathy at a time where we need it most. I bring bring this up because in many ways, we as queer filmmakers, curators, distributors, and change makers are resisting that trend. Every time we form a collective, start a mentorship group, we back somebody's crowdfunding campaign, we show up for a friend's rough cut screening, we are actively building social capital for each other in a time of a collapsing social fabric. It's not just a nice thing to do, it is essential. This is the work that we have to recommit ourselves to day in and day out. This is the balm for our collective soul, showing up for one another and filling each other's cups. This room does not need to be reminded that we are living through a hellish day-to-day. Trans children being a political football, to billionaires and the government inserting themselves into our private healthcare decisions, who we choose to fuck, who we choose to marry, mass deportation, wars and genocides that our government funds with our tax dollars, increasing hate crimes across all marginalized communities in this country. And yet we keep telling stories. It's not just resilience, it's resistance. Our stories can bear witness to atrocities happening everywhere, from Los Angeles to Gaza. Our stories can provide comfort, they can challenge entire systems, they can just be for laughs, they can actually be whatever the fuck we want them to be. But resistance is exhausting. Burnout isn't just personal, it's systemic. That's why so many of you nodded when I said I felt burnt out. And no individual spirit can survive long without fuel, no matter how fiery or determined. That fuel has to be our community. It has to be each other. We are the ones who show up for each other when the rest of the business doesn't. We are the ones who say, I've got you, when we see each other crashing out. We are the ones who greenlight each other's dreams. Through fundraising, organizing, curation, or even just vouching for one another when one of us is not in the room. So maybe it means choosing to keep going with each other, not despite each other, not in competition with each other, but in active, loving collaboration. Because here's the truth. None of us can afford to bowl alone. I don't have all the answers. I'm still figuring this out myself. I'm losing what's left of my hair fundraising for my next film. But I do know this much. Success without community is a myth, and survival without connection is a slow, painful death long before our hearts give out. Making it can't just be limited to how Hollywood defines success. We must define success on our own terms. And not just what an incredibly fickle, imaginative business model determines to be success for shareholders. I know, that's all heavy shit. So where's the hope? Well, the hope is right now, right here in this room, looking all of you in the face right now. Hope is the weird little pockets of creative collaboration that haven't been bought out or beaten down. It's in the group chats where we celebrate each other's wins. It's the 2 a.m. DMs that say, I just watched your short film and it wrecks me in the best way. It's in the community screenings where someone finally sees a version of themselves on screen for the first time. Hope lives in the moments when we choose to make something, anything, even when we're scared it won't matter. It lives in the joy that we carve out despite it all, and our chosen families, the mutual aid, the dance parties, the messy first drafts, the jokes that only we get. I know it feels like the world is on fire, and that's because it is. But fire isn't just destructive. It clears space for new growth. And I really do believe that we are growing together in a time where we can make something more honest, more creative, and more caring than a system that continues to fail us. Queer filmmakers have always been ahead of the curve, artistically, technologically, politically. So don't let anybody tell you that you are behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, in this room, right here, right now. We're not just surviving, we're imagining the future in real time. And in that, we can start to take our power back as a collective. We may not make it in the way that this industry sells it, but we can build something better together, even if that requires sacrifice. So let's rally, let's actually care for one another. Let's keep building this imperfect, beautiful ecosystem of support. And when one of us breaks through, let's ask, who can I bring up with me? My challenge to everybody in this room today is to connect with somebody you don't already know. Get to know them as a person, not as their job title. Ask that person how you can support them and mean it. Follow through. This whole thing falls apart without genuine reciprocity. Whatever making it looks like now in our collective future, I look forward to doing it in lockstep with all of you. Thank you.